Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into ACIM, Lesson 152. Now, whether you've been following this source material for years or you're just jumping in for the very first time, we're unpacking something that's honestly a total game changer. It basically asks us to completely tear down and rebuild how we think about our own personal agency. And it all hinges on the actual lesson for today, which is this: the power of decision is my own. Sounds pretty simple, right? We make choices all day long. But the text takes this everyday concept and blows it up into a massive, all-encompassing philosophy. We're not just talking about deciding what to have for breakfast here. We're talking about deciding your literal, fundamental reality. Okay, let's get into Section 1, the radical claim. So get ready, because the text makes a massive, heavy claim here. It says that absolutely no one suffers loss, feels pain, grieves, gets sick, or even dies without their own consent. I know, right? It argues that literally nothing happens to you unless it represents your direct wish. The exact quote is, "Here is your world complete in all details." Basically, the reality we're perceiving every day, including all the tragedy and the hardship. According to this lesson, that is a state we have actively elected for ourselves. Moving right along to Section 2, is this too extreme? Now look, if you're hearing this and your immediate reaction is, okay, there is no way this is way too extreme, you are definitely not alone. The text actually anticipates this. It explicitly asks, is this position extreme and too inclusive to be true? Because yeah, the idea that we're actively choosing our own grief or sickness feels completely counterintuitive to the human experience. But the text doesn't back down from this at all. Instead, it uses that exact skepticism to redefine what truth actually is. And here's how it defines it. According to the lesson, truth absolutely cannot have exceptions. It asks this incredibly profound question: if you already have the gift of everything, can loss actually be real? Can pain be part of peace, or grief be a part of joy? The text says no, absolutely not. If a mind is filled with perfect love, fear and sickness just can't enter it. If truth is real, it's got to be completely consistent, all or nothing. Which leads us to a really crucial distinction. Think of true reality like the sun, right? It's unchangeable, it's eternal wholeness. On the flip side, you have these false transitory states. Think of those like passing clouds. By this definition, anything that shifts, alters, or changes, and yes, that includes our physical bodies and our shifting emotions, is an illusion. It's false. Truth, by its very definition, doesn't change. All right, let's look at Section 3, arrogance versus true humility. So this lesson completely flips the script on how we use the word humility. Normally, we think being humble means admitting we're small or flawed or guilty, but the text calls that the ego's arrogance. It essentially argues that believing we actually have the power to ruin our own divine, perfect nature is incredibly arrogant. True humility, on the other hand, is the joyous acceptance of our unchangeable, radiant perfection exactly as we were created. Think about it like this. The text says that if you look at a chaotic world full of suffering and death, and you blame God for creating it, you're basically accusing God of being insane. It just doesn't make sense that a perfect, loving creator would build a chaotic world that contradicts his own nature. The text says he is not mad, yet only madness makes a world like this. So believing in a chaotic reality that God didn't even create, that's the ultimate arrogance. So what does practicing this true humility actually look like? Well, it means dropping the act, abandoning this false pretense of being guilty or ashamed. You have to humbly lay aside all those self-made limitations and recognize your own perfect sinlessness. It's about joyously accepting your right to heaven, acknowledging that all the ego's lies are totally false, and that only this big, unchanging truth is real. Which brings us to Section 4, practicing the lesson today. Now for the practical part. How do we actually apply these massive, mind-bending concepts? The text lays out a highly specific morning routine. Step 1, the second you wake up, focus only on the truth. Step 2, spend exactly 5 minutes reciting the core phrase to calm down your frightened mind. And step 3, just wait in silence. The whole goal here is to let go of your self-deceptions and allow your true self to step forward. But hey, this doesn't just stop after your morning coffee. You're supposed to wait in patience throughout your entire day. The text instructs you to do hourly check-ins. Every single hour, you invite this truth back in using those same words. The promise is that by doing this, you're actively swapping out all those frantic, fearful thoughts for profound peace. You're literally replacing the illusion with reality. So here is the full incantation the text leaves us with to repeat. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. I want to leave you with a thought today. If you fully committed to this, if you truly deeply accepted that your entire reality is solely a product of your own decision, how much would your world change before you go to sleep tonight? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.